Tonight on SBN2, we'll have our continuing coverage of January's terrible train accidents, as we'll go more in depth into the lives of the victims that died that afternoon. Tanya Cohen has spoken with various people who knew the victims, and she will give us her live report from Gofield Green Lawns in Midtown, where the victims will be buried. Also tonight, could you deal with the pain of losing your whole family? Sean will be interviewing Antonio Lopez, and he will be telling us how he feels about this whole ordeal and these consecutive tragedies that have occurred to him over the last 4 months. Eyewitness News Nightcast starts right now.
You're watching Eyewitness News Nightcast with Evan Ritter, Sean Riff, and Stephen Roberts. Now, Eyewitness News Nightcast.
Welcome to our second broadcasting of Eyewitness News Nightcast. I'm Evan Ritter.
And I'm Sean Riff. We must first welcome 2 new members of our SBN2 team. Evan Ritter, our new anchor for Eyewitness News Nightcast, and Stephen Roberts, our new meteorologist. Stephen and Evan, welcome to SBN2.
Thank you. It's a true pleasure working for SBN2, and I'm glad I've gotten this opportunity to work with the best news station here in Rockville.
Well, we have a lot in store for tonight's broadcast, so let's begin with the newscast.
Maxis and Electronic Arts have released the 3rd expansion pack for The Sims 2. The 3rd expansion pack for the highly sold PC simulator game allows Sims to create their own businesses and also be their own boss. Sean?
On Saturday, February 11th, the United States Vice President Dick Cheney has accidentally shot his partner Harry Whittington, a 78-year-old Texas attorney. This has been major news in the country last month. Whittington was released from the hospital after spending a week of treatment. Whittington was shot in the face, neck, and upper torso with birdshot pellets from a shotgun. 3 days after the incident, he had suffered a minor heart attack. It turns out that some of the pellets were also lodged in his heart. However, medical officials say that this is minor and not life-threatening. Whittington was released from the hospital 6 days later, doctors giving a prognosis of a full recovery. Dick Cheney has set history, however, as he is the first known vice president in the nation to ever accidentally shoot someone. Evan?
How unfortunate. Rockville has undergone a massive terrain change. After being a fully snow-covered winter wonderland for 2 months, this month we can now see our green normal terrain restored. The 36 inches of snow from the massive snowstorm that had fallen on Friday, December 23rd, has melted fully. The melting snow produced flooding in localized parts of the city, yet it was not as bad as originally predicted, as the temperatures had dropped for some time last month, which allowed the snow to slowly melt. The snowstorm sets the all-time record of being the largest snowfall accumulation ever recorded from a single storm in Rockville. The snowstorm had dumped 3 feet of snow, which is equivalent to 36 inches of snow. Stephen Roberts will have the exclusive AccuWeather forecast, and he will be telling us whether or not we'll be expecting snow anytime soon. Sean?
And that brings us to New York City. Last month, New York had also set their record of having the most accumulation ever from a snowstorm. The snowstorm is known as the Blizzard of 2006, had begun falling on the evening of February 11th and ended on the afternoon of February 12th in the area. Since the heaviest snow was only confined to a very small but heavily populated area, the storm was only ranked as a low-end Category 3 major on the Northeast Snowfall Impact Scale, which takes into account the area affected. The storm is also impressive because the low-pressure center was so deep that somewhat of an eye actually formed. Rarely do eyes form in storms other than hurricanes, and it is especially rare in extratropical cyclones. NASA took a satellite picture of the eye of the storm. The eye was located just south and east of southern New Jersey in this picture. Rockville had received only 6 inches of snow from that storm. When we return, Tanya Cohen will be speaking to 4 Sims who knew the victims that died during the train accidents that occurred last month. And plus later, we'll have this very emotional interview which I've done with Antonio Lopez earlier this evening. We'll be right back in 30 seconds. You're watching SBN2 Rockville.
Welcome back. Many of you all may know how painful the loss of a loved one may be. This train tragedy has affected many, even those who didn't know the victims. Many people who hear this story every day are brought to tears. Tanya Cohen has spoken to some of these people last month, and to no surprise, they were sad as well. Tanya Cohen is live in front of the funeral home in Midtown with more details. Tanya?
Well, Evan, this tragedy has taken a toll on many friends and families of the victims. Rockville citizens are overall saddened by the revelation of 4 very much loved people passing away so suddenly by the hands of the alleged mentally ill killer, Kennedy Cox.
They were my best friends. I hung out with them every day.
Flowers have been placed over the accident scene. The train station has reopened as the investigation has been finished. However, the families are currently planning a funeral to be held at Gauthier Green Lawns.
They were like siblings to me. I don't think I can ever get over this. That guy needs to pay for what he did.
But the killer has also committed suicide. Does that serve as justice to you?
That is still not enough. He deserves to rot in hell for what he did. He killed 4 young innocent people who are all engaged and ready to marry.
I'm so sorry, Amanda. I truly understand how you feel, and this has been tough on many people. Sean Connors, who was best friends with the victims, also had a reaction. I went to his house in Southton and I asked his thoughts. How do you feel about this, Sean?
Tanya, every time I hear this, I get disappointed. I feel that those 4 victims have not been given a chance at life. They were very talented people. Jeffrey and Lenny have been best friends since childhood. They were also my friends. They were highly popular in this town, and their lives have been robbed. Tanya and Sonia were also best friends. They were all engaged, and I was looking forward to their wedding after they graduated, but now I look forward to their funeral. It makes you think twice about life. That's why they say to live life to the fullest, and I completely agree with that saying. You never know when your time will come to go, so that's why I live life to the fullest, because you never know when some fool is going to come and shoot you, or if you're going to have some disease that will abruptly end your life. Life is precious, and I take it seriously. And for these 4 victims, it's something that will reflect on many people in our town.
This tragedy is definitely something that will leave a scar on many people in our town, as the deaths of these 4 people will definitely affect us for some time to come. Eyewitness News has also learned that these 4 victims were engaged to each other at the time of their deaths. Their parents were planning weddings for each of the couples, but in a sad turn of events, they are now planning their funeral. Live at the Gauthier Green Homes Funeral Home in Uptown, Tanya Cohen, SBN2 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Tanya. SBN2 will have continuous coverage on the Rockville City Central Station train tragedy. The funeral will be held at Gauthier Green Lawns, located in Midtown. SBN2 will of course be at the funeral and will bring you with more details in our April 2006 broadcast of Eyewitness News. Sean?
Such a sad story, Evan. We move on. Citizens in Rockville have been nervous about traveling to our city's nightclubs after dark due to the brawls and deadly assaults that have been occurring. Out of anger for no relevant reason, these people would simply start fighting aggressively and sometimes to their deaths. We warn you that the following footage is highly graphic. The fights, which become a murdering massacre, would simply begin as a simple disagreement escalating into a massive chaotic brawl. In this video captured by our own SBN2 cameraman, 2 people by names of Lily Thomas and Oliver Gint would simply begin by a minor childish-like prank. Lily throws a drink at Oliver, and then the argument escalates to poking, to slapping, to shoving, and then escalates to a deadly violent assault.
Rockville City will begin to crack down on anyone who threatens the lives and or attacks anyone in the city. In this city, we strive for friendship and respect for one another. Anyone who breaks these laws will be severely apprehended, and swift justice will be served. I will no longer tolerate this in my city. It has gotten way out of hand.
Lily Thomas, according to bystanders, was apparently playing with Oliver in this situation. Oliver did not take the joke seriously and fought her and killed her. Shortly after her death, Oliver smashes her urn and then he instantly dies shortly after that. As you can see in slow motion, he is engulfed by something out of the ordinary, and a pile of his remains instantly fall to the ground.
If this continues in our city, I will order the police to exile anyone who continues this offense. And if these assaults continue furthermore, death penalties will be given to the repeated offenders. This city is highly serious. We are tired of this. We are taking some action. If anyone gets in our way, they will be dealt with in ways that I cannot even disclose.
The mayor, who has spoken to Rockville citizens the day after this tragic assault, is highly serious. As a message from the mayor, we ask you viewers to stay out of trouble when attending these nightclubs. Sean Riff, SBN2 Eyewitness News. Next on Eyewitness News Nightcast, I've spoken to Antonio Lopez, who has lost his whole family in a series of tragic events. Also, Stephen Roberts has his first AccuWeather forecast here in SBN2. What kind of weather will we expect this month? Stay tuned to find out later on SBN2 Eyewitness News Nightcast.
Once again, SBN2 has brought you a change. From low quality to high quality. From Simlish to English.
Some breaking news from the National Weather Service in Upton, New York. National Weather.
From titles to graphics. SBN2 Eyewitness News, bringing change to you.
You're watching SBN2 Rockville.
Welcome back. Earlier this evening, Sean had spoken to Antonio Lopez, and here's his very emotional interview that they had earlier.
As we all know, this tragedy has affected everyone. However, the one in which it affected the most was Antonio Lopez. He lost his whole family, and he is here tonight to speak with SBN2. Antonio, please come on in. Hello, Antonio. Thank you for coming to SBN2. Please have a seat. Antonio, are you okay?
Not at all. My life has been a complete wreck, Sean, and I really don't know what to do next.
Once again, I'm terribly sorry that you have to go through something like this. It's almost unheard of for someone to lose their whole family so instantly and so quick. And not often does this occur. Now I'm going to reiterate. In November 2005, SBN2 had reported that your parents Maria and John Lopez have died due to a severe fire that had taken place in your home while you were in college. And also firefighters who were fighting the blaze also died. And in January 2006, your sister Sonia Lopez was pushed onto the tracks of an oncoming train and died instantly along with two of her best friends. This must be extremely tough on you.
I don't think anyone knows how I feel. I feel like I've lost everything. Like, there is almost no purpose in living, you know? I mean, there's no one to support me anymore. How am I supposed to move on, Sean? I am at a loss to my life now, just as I've been in November when my parents had died. And now my sister died just 2 months ago, which makes me at an even greater loss. I feel like they were not given a chance in life, and it just makes me so angry and regretful, you know? There's just no word that can describe what has occurred to me, and I'm not sure if I can go on like this. I may just join them.
Join them? Are you planning on committing suicide?
Yes, you guessed it. I may just end my life as well, so I could be with them. The moment that all of them had died, my life was over, and it will be soon. I'm sure of it.
I know that you have a lot on your plate and this is taking an extreme toll on you right now. But wouldn't your parents and sister want you to strive for the best? I'm pretty sure that they would not want you to end your life, don't you think?
I agree, but what is there to do? I have no guidance, no support, nothing!
It's okay, Antonio. This is really taking a toll on him.
Excuse me, Sean. Anyone else is also watching right now?
It's okay, Antonio. Now, I don't think suicide is the way to go. You have so much to live for, and you need to prove to your parents and sister that you can go on. If you kill yourself, you did not prove anything to them. And what will that do? It means that you gave up. I'm pretty sure that your family would not want that for you, so do it for Maria, your mother. Do it for your father, John, and your sister, Sonia. Fight this grief and move on. Prove to them that you are strong and move on with them in mind. Do everything that you can do for them, okay?
And that was Sean earlier this evening talking to Antonio Lopez. Such an emotional interview, Sean. Coming up next on Eyewitness News Nightcast is Stephen Roberts' AccuWeather forecast.
So far, we had a pretty cool March, but when will the spring temperatures arrive? I'll have an answer on my first AccuWeather forecast on SBN2 Eyewitness News Nightcast coming up next.
Eyewitness News was there, covering the massive drought of Rockville. Eyewitness News was there when Hurricane Katrina had devastated New Orleans. Eyewitness News is now here, bringing you the coverage of the Rockville City train tragedy. Stay tuned to SBN2 for minute-to-minute coverage and updates from Rockville's only local news. SBN2 Eyewitness News.
You're watching SBN2 Rockville.
Eyewitness News Nightcast continues.
Stephen is now in the AccuWeather Center for the first time to give us his first AccuWeather forecast. Stephen?
Alrighty, before I begin with the weather, first I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Stephen Roberts. I originally worked at KSBN-TV Pleasantville, Simnation, California, which is near Los Angeles, California. I've been KSBN-TV's meteorologist down for nearly 5 years. However, I always miss my town of Rockville. I was born and raised here, so I have quite a history here in Rockville. I always loved Rockville and dreamed of doing the weather here. And Henry felt the same way, vice versa. So we decided to switch our places. We moved back into our original homes, and now we're both happy. And I'm quite happy to be a part of the SBN2 here in Rockville. And now my time's running out, so let's begin with my first AccuWeather forecast. Here's a live shot of the Commerce Cam in Rockville. As you can see, it's pretty clear outside and quite cold for this time of year. It is 30 degrees and mostly clear. This time of the month, we only had cold weather below average temperatures. Where are the warmer March temperatures? Since February, we've been stuck in this pattern where our jet stream just will not retreat north. The jet stream is the stationary, and it just locked 50 miles under North Carolina, where we find temperatures in the 60s and even 70s. Very spring-like. However, above that jet stream, we found temperatures in the 20s and 30s. This is very winter-like, but still slightly below average because we normally see temperatures closing in the near and upper 40s this time of year. This weather pattern looked like it may linger for about one more week, and then by the end of the month, about this time into April, spring arrives. And the computer models are showing that daytime high temperatures are in the 60s for the first week of April. This is an amazing recovery. The last time we seen 60-degree day was on January 12th, which was a highly unusual when the daytime record reached an all high of 62 degrees. Do you remember that snow that we've been buried under for nearly 2 months? Well, it's gone. Our terrain is back and restored. Hopefully we won't have any more snowstorms in our area this month or in the spring. And now here's my first AccuWeather forecast. Saturday, partly cloudy, highs 37 with your low of 29. Sunday, cloudy, highs 42 and your lows 32. Monday, there's going to be a light rain, so make sure you have your umbrella ready. It's going to be a high in 41. Your low is going to be 36 that day. Tuesday, sunny and mild, high 45, low 28. And Wednesday, partly cloudy and colder, high 37 and low 27. Overall, the temperatures this week into next week pretty much stay the same. By this weekend, we'll reach the 40s, which we haven't reached at all this month. Tuesday is the highest of the 5 days, topping 45 degrees, but will quickly drop back down into the 30s as the reinforcing shot of cold air from the Arctic will penetrate our area in the northeast. On March 20th, we will have our vernal equinox. This is the official start of the spring season. This will occur at 1:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. During the vernal equinox, the world has exactly 12 hours a day and 12 hours a night because the sun rays are directly on the equator, splitting the daylight hours in half. The days will be getting longer. Also, the days mark the start of the fall in the southern hemisphere. Now back to you, Evan and Sean, man.
It looks like winter does not want to go away. Thank you, Steven. Our top stories are coming up next. Stay tuned.
In our top stories tonight, families are currently planning a funeral to bury the 4 victims that died 2 months ago due to a train accident caused by the man who pushed the 4 victims onto the tracks of an oncoming train. In national news, in the United States, Vice President Dick Cheney accidentally shot his hunting partner Harry Whittington last month. Whittington has made a full recovery and the shooting was dubbed accidental. Cheney was not criminally charged for the shooting. And finally tonight, New York last month received the most snowfall ever recorded from a single storm. The strong Category 3 blizzard dumped 28 inches of snow, exceeding the record set in the 1940s. The storm was also characterized as an unusual storm because a well-defined eye had formed in the center of it. Storms like these don't normally have eyes in the center of them. And now Sean has a preview of what will be on Eyewitness News in April 2006. Sean?
Coming on Eyewitness News in April 2006, it will be springtime and Eyewitness News will be showing you the businesses that have opened for the upcoming spring and summer seasons. And will unveil to you Rockville's new business district. Stephen will have the hopefully pleasant AccuWeather forecast, plus much more on SBN2 Eyewitness News. We'll be right back.
Eyewitness News is online at thevladsite.com. Talk about our newscast, submit your ideas, and access all of our newscasts, all on thevladsite.com. Eyewitness News Nightcast is brought to you by TV News Talk, conversations you can count on, and by Sims 99, Machinima at its finest.
Thank you for joining us tonight for our second broadcasting of SBN2 Eyewitness News Nightcast. I'll be back here in June for our next Nightcast. Have a great night. I'm Evan Ritter.
We're glad that you joined our team, Evan. We'll see you in June for Nightcast, and I'll be here in April with Mary for Eyewitness News. I'm Sean Riff. Have a great night. Do you see news happening? Share it with SBN2. Tell SBN2 your tips by calling 1-800-SBN-TIPS or by submitting your tips to our website.